The rain hammered the windshield like accusations, each drop a reminder of the eulogy Cameron had choked through an hour ago. She loved you all. He'd lied to the stone-faced relatives in the front pew, his voice cracking on the word loved because Grandma Ellis had been the only one who ever had. As he gripped the steering wheel of his beat-up Honda, the phone buzzed in the cup holder. A number he didn't recognize, Seattle area code, and when he answered, a lawyer's clipped voice cut through the static. Mr. Hale? Your grandmother's will just invalidated every other claim. You're the sole heir. The family's coming for you. Cameron's foot slammed the brake, the car fishtailing on the slick I-5 asphalt as his world tilted. He was 28, a barista in a Capitol Hill coffee shop scraping by on tips and dreams of something more. And now this millions, a brownstone in Queen, and stocks in old Seattle shipping firms, all left to the grandson they'd called a disgrace since he came out at 16. The lawyer's words echoed. She said it was time you claimed what was yours. But as Cameron stared at the blurring taillights ahead, he knew the call wasn't mercy. It was war. Cameron pulled over onto the shoulder, the wipers slapping futilely against the downpour, his heart pounding like the thunder rolling in from the sound. The lawyer, Mr. Hargrove, had sounded almost apologetic, his Midwestern twang softened by years of estate battles. Eleanor was clear, son. No trusts, no contingencies. It's all yours, provided you sign by week's end. But expect pushback. The cousins are already lawyered up. Cameron laughed, a bitter bark that dissolved into a sob. Grandma Ellis, with her sharp wit and silver hair pinned like a crown, had always seen through the family's bullshit. You're the heart of us, Cam, she'd whisper during summer visits to her Queen and Victorian, while his parents staged interventions in the kitchen downstairs. Now she was gone, felled by a stroke at 89, and her final act was flipping the table on them all. He restarted the engine, merging back into traffic with hands trembling on the wheel. Seattle's skyline loomed through the sheets of rain, the Space Needle a skeletal finger pointing skyward, mocking his disorientation. Home was a cramped studio in Fremont, shared with stacks of unread screenplays and a cat named Hemingway who judged him daily. But tonight he couldn't face it. Instead, he veered toward Capitol Hill, the neighborhood's neon glow a siren call for distraction. The funeral had been a farce. Aunts dabbing crocodile tears, uncles muttering about lifestyles, his mother avoiding his eyes like he carried the plague. Only Grandma's old friend, Mrs. Patel from the garden club, had squeezed his hand and murmured, "She was proud of you, dear. Always." Parking crookedly outside the Eclipse, a dive bar with rainbow flags fluttering defiantly in the storm, Cameron killed the engine and dashed inside. The place smelled of spilled IPA and nostalgia, a haven for the city's queer underbelly. He claimed a stool at the Scarred Oak Bar, ordering a whiskey neat from the bartender, a tattooed queen named Jax who arched a pierced eyebrow. "Rough day, handsome? You look like you just buried the Pope." Cameron downed the shot, the burn chasing away the chill. "Close enough. My grandma Eleanor Hale. She just made me richer than God and angrier than the devil." Jax leaned in, wiping a glass with theatrical flair. "Spill. We're all family here." And so he did, the words tumbling out like the rain outside. The dissolution at 16, the years of holidays spent alone with takeout, Grandma's secret checks to keep him afloat through community college. She knew they hated me for this. He gestured vaguely at himself, the fitted black shirt hugging his lean frame, the silver ring on his thumb engraved with a tiny rainbow from a long-ago pride. Jax nodded, sliding him another drink on the house. "Sounds like she was your fairy godmother. What's the catch?" The door banged open, admitting a gust of wind and a man who seemed carved from the storm itself. Tall, broad-shouldered, with damp blonde hair curling at the collar of a wool peacoat, carrying a violin case like a shield. He shook off the rain, scanning the room with blue eyes sharp as Puget Sound ice. Luke. Cameron didn't know his name yet, but something in the way he moved, purposeful, unapologetic, snagged in his chest. Luke spotted an empty stool 2 down and claimed it, ordering a gin and tonic with a voice like smoked oak. Jax caught Cameron's stare and smirked. "New blood. Go say hi, or I'll do it for you. Cameron hesitated, the whiskey buzzing in his veins. Flirting at a funeral's wake felt profane, but grief was a cruel aphrodisiac. He slid over, casual as he could manage. Mind if I join? Rain's got me feeling communal. Luke turned, his smile slow and genuine, crinkling the corners of those eyes. Communal's my middle name, Luke Whitaker. And you are? Cameron Hale, fresh off a family implosion. They clinked glasses, the conversation flowing easier than the liquor. Luke was a session violinist with the Seattle Symphony, crashing the bar after a rehearsal that ran long. Bach's too brooding for this weather, he said. But it pays the rent. Hours blurred, stories swapping like cards. Cameron's aborted film school dreams. Luke's escape from a conservative Boise upbringing where gay was whispered like a curse. My folks still send Bible verses via text, Luke admitted, his laugh self-deprecating. Yours? Cameron's gaze darkened. Worse, they buried my out today. But he didn't mention the will, not yet. That secret burned too hot. As last call loomed, Luke's hand brushed his on the bar. Accidental electric. Walk you to your car? Storms biblical. Cameron nodded, pulse racing. Outside, under the awning, the rain softened to a patter, and Luke leaned in, breath warm against his ear. This might be forward, but dinner tomorrow? No strings, just good food and better company. Cameron's yes was a whisper, sealed with a number exchange and a glance that lingered too long. The next morning dawned gray, Seattle's perpetual overcast mirroring Cameron's mood. He woke to Hemingway batting at his phone, 3 missed calls from his mother. Voicemail. Cameron, we need to talk. This mistake with the will. It's not right. He deleted it, rolling out of bed to brew coffee strong enough to scour the regret. The brownstone, his now waited inspection but first work. The coffee shop, being there, was a frenzy of lattes and laptops, the hiss of the espresso machine drowning his thoughts. Mid-shift, Hargrove emailed the prelim docs. $4.2 million liquid, the Victorian appraised at $1.80, plus shares in Heir Maritime, Grandma's legacy from great-grandpa's shipyard days. Sign here to accept. It read. Litigation likely from siblings. Cameron printed it at the shop's ancient Xerox, signing with a flourish that felt like rebellion. As he sealed the envelope, his cousin Derek burst through the door. Tall, red-faced, the golden boy who'd inherited the family real estate firm. Cam, what the hell? Mom's hysterical. Grandma couldn't have meant this. Customers glanced over, sensing drama. Cameron forced calm, handing off a cappuccino to a waiting hipster. She did, Derek. It's done. Derek's eyes narrowed, voice low. You're not family anymore. Not after. You know. We'll fight this. Blood wins. He stormed out, bell jingling like a warning. That evening, dinner with Luke was at a hole-in-the-wall Italian in Belltown, candlelight flickering over Chianti bottles. Luke arrived with a bottle of his own, house red from Walla Walla, because locals better. And they dove in, pasta twirling on forks as barriers crumbled. So, this inheritance, Luke prompted gently, after Cameron let slip the basics. Sounds like a plot twist. Cameron toyed with his napkin. More like a grenade. My family's circling like vultures. Luke's hand covered his across the table, steady. Then let them circle. You've got you. And maybe a friend in your corner. The touch lingered, a promise unspoken. As they stepped into the night, shoulders brushing under shared umbrellas. But peace was fleeting. 2 days later, the first volley landed. A certified letter from the family attorney, contesting the will on grounds of undue influence and mental incapacity. Cameron read it in the brownstone's cavernous library, dust motes dancing in sunbeams slanting through leaded glass. Grandma's ghost lingered in every corner. The leather armchair where she'd read him Kipling, the mantel clock ticking like her heartbeat. They won't win, he muttered to the empty room, but doubt gnawed. Derek's words echoed, blood wins. He called Luke, voice tight. Dinner again? I need backup. Luke's reply was instant. On my way. With wine and violins if it helps. Their nights blurred into a rhythm. Rehearsals at Luke's Pike Place loft, where strings soared over city hum, followed by takeout on the fire escape, stars pricking the haze. Luke was steady, his touch a bomb, fingers tracing Cameron's knuckles during movie marathons. A chaste kiss goodnight that deepened with each goodbye. "You're healing me," Cameron confessed one midnight, head on Luke's chest, the violin case propped like a sentinel. Luke's chuckle rumbled. "Ditto. But slow, yeah? I've crashed before." Cameron nodded, savoring the fragility, unaware how soon the storm would break. The family meeting was set for a Saturday in the Heir boardroom downtown, a glass-walled fortress overlooking Elliott Bay. Cameron arrived early, suit borrowed from a shop clerk friend, charcoal gray, too tight at the shoulders, clutching Hargrove's briefcase like a talisman. Luke had offered to come, but Cameron waved him off. "This is blood sport. Better you stay clean." Instead, Luke texted a violin emoji and knock him dead. The elevator dinged, depositing him into corporate chill. Polished mahogany, the faint tang of old money. His mother, Vivian, waited alone, her pearls a noose around collagen's smooth neck. "Cameron," she said, voice honey over venom. "Sit. Let's end this madness." He didn't. "Madness? She chose me, Mom. After you chose them." Vivian's eyes, once warm in memory, hardened. "We chose normalcy. You threw it away with your choices." The door swung open, admitting the pack. Derek and his wife, smug in twin sets. Aunt Lydia, fanning herself with probate papers. Uncle Roy, the patriarch, red-veined nose from too many scotches. "Boy," Roy boomed. "This stunt dishonors Eleanor." Cameron's laugh was sharp. "Dishonor? Like disowning your grandson at prom because he kissed a boy?" Silence thick as fog. Then Derek, "We contest. Incapacity." She was senile. Lies, all of it, but the lawyer nodded, sliding folders. Hargrove arrived late, rain-slicked and unflappable. "Gentlemen, ladies, shall we?" The room erupted. Accusations flying like confetti, Vivian weeping theatrically, Roy thundering about legacy. Cameron sat through it numb until Lydia hissed, "You poisoned her against us." That snapped him. "Poison? I was the only one who visited. You leeches called once a year for checks." Roy's fist hit the table. "Enough. We'll drag this to court. Ruin you." Hargrove cleared his throat. "Actually, no. Eleanor's codicil includes a no-contest clause. Challenge, and you forfeit your shares entirely." Gasps rippled. Vivian paled. "She wouldn't." "She did," Cameron said softly. "For me." They adjourned in defeat, glares promising vendetta, but Cameron walked out lighter, the bay's ferries chugging like freedom. He called Luke from the pier, wind whipping his tie. "It's over. Sort of." Luke's whoop echoed. "Celebrate? My place. I've got a bottle of Veuve and Vivaldi." The loft was a symphony of warmth. Exposed brick, sheet music pinned like art, the scent of garlic from a bubbling risotto. Luke pulled him into a hug, fierce and unyielding. "You were brave." Dinner stretched lazy, wine loosening tongues. Luke sharing his Boise scars, the church expulsion at 18, bus ticket west clutched like a prayer. "Found my tribe here," he said, eyes on Cameron. "Symphony queers. Best family." Their first real kiss happened post-dinner, on the couch amid scattered scores, a crescendo after a whispered, "What if?" Cameron's hand cupped Luke's jaw, stubble rough under palm, lips meeting tentative then urgent, a dam breaking. It was chaste, clothes barriers intact, but the heat lingered, bodies aligning like notes in harmony. "Stay," Luke murmured against his neck. Cameron did, dawn finding them tangled in flannel sheets, coffee brewing to birdsong over the market's clamor. "This feels dangerous," Cameron admitted, tracing Luke's collarbone. "Good dangerous," Luke replied, stealing a peck. "Like a duet we didn't know we needed." But danger brewed elsewhere. Derek cornered him at being their midweek, face thunderous. "We dropped the suit," codicil's ironclad. "But this ain't over, fag." The slur landed like a slap, customers freezing. Cameron's retort died as Derek leaned in. Grandma's safe? The one in the attic? We know about it. Cameron's blood iced. The safe, Grandma's private vault. Combo his birth date. Holding not just deeds but letters, photos, the family's dirty laundry from Prohibition bootlegging to 80s scandals. Touch it, and, Derek smirked. Too late. Roy's cracking it tomorrow. Payback. He sauntered out, leaving Cameron reeling. He raced to the brownstone. Queen and steep streets a blur. Key shaking in the lock. The house breathed history. Creaking floors, wallpaper peeling like old skin. Grandma Steinway silent in the parlor. Up the attic stairs, dust choked and dim. The safe squatted like a sentinel, brass, unyielding. He spun the dial, March 14th, 89, Pi Day, her joke, and it yielded, paper spilling. Yellowed manifests, a locket with faded tintype of great-grandpa, and at bottom, an envelope sealed with wax, addressed to my true heir. Inside, her script, Cameron. They hid my truths to hoard power. This proves the fortune's clean, no ghosts. But beware, blood betrays. Enclosed, a ledger detailing laundered funds from Roy's side hustles. Enough to jail him. Heart hammering, Cameron pocketed it, bolting locks just as his phone buzzed. Luke. Rehearsal ran short. Brownstone date. Relief flooded. Yes, bring fortification. Luke arrived with Thai takeout and a playlist of mellow Gershwin, spreading blankets in the library for a picnic amid tomes. They ate cross-legged, knees touching, laughter easing the day's weight. Show me around? Luke asked, eyes bright. Cameron led the tour. Kitchen with its copper pots, sunroom where Grandma gardened orchids, master suite with four-poster bed untouched since her passing. In the bedroom, overlooking the lights, Luke pulled him close. This place suits you. Air of secrets. Their kiss deepened, hands roaming shirt sleeves, breaths mingling in the quiet. I could fall, Cameron whispered. Luke's smile was soft. Already have. Yet sleep evaded, ledger burning a hole in his pocket. Dawn brought pounding at the door. Roy and Derek, bailiff in tow, warrant for inspection. Health code violation, Roy lied, eyes darting to the attic stairs. Cameron blocked them, voice steel. Over my dead body. The bailiff shrugged. Stand down, sir. Chaos. Shouts, a shoved shoulder. Luke arriving mid-fray from a forgotten coffee run. Violin case swinging like a bat to clear space. Back off. Cops called, statements taken, the cousins slinking away with threats. In the aftermath, Luke bandaged a scraped knuckle, concern etching his face. This family's toxic. You okay? Cameron nodded, but inside, the ledger whispered. Betray or be broken. That night, alone in the vast bed, Cameron drafted an email to Hargrove. Evidence attached, anonymous tip to the DA. Send, and Roy fell. Withhold and peace bought with silence. Luke texted goodnight, a heart emoji, and Cameron's resolve cracked. He deleted the draft, curling into sheets that smelled of dust and decisions. Weeks wove into a fragile normalcy, the brownstone transforming under Cameron's tentative touch. Fresh linens on the beds, herbs sprouting in the sunroom. His screenplays migrating from boxes to the desk. Luke became fixture. Mornings with symphony scores spread on the kitchen island. Evenings with vinyl spinning Ellington while they cooked, bodies orbiting closer. You're nesting me, Luke teased one Sunday. Flour dusted from bread dough, stealing a kiss mid-need. Cameron grinned, heart full. Guilty. But you like it. Luke's eyes softened. More than like. It was romance distilled. Walks in Discovery Park, hands linked under evergreens. Quiet admissions over wine, vulnerabilities bared like offerings. But the family simmered. Vivian's calls escalated from pleas to guilt trips. Your father's ill, Cameron. Family first. Each a barb hooking old wounds. He blocked her, but Derek's shadows lingered. A slashed tire on the Honda. Anonymous notes slipped under the door. Freak air won't last. Cameron confided in Luke during a rain-lashed picnic at Gasworks Park. Kites grounded by wind. They're ghosts I can't exorcise. Luke's arm around him was anchor. Then we face them together. I've got your back. That night, in the attic, safe now bolted to floor, they made love's threshold. Shirts shed, skin to skin, touches reverent as prayer. No rush, just exploration, whispers of mine and stay, sealing a bond deeper than words. Monday brought the bomb. Hargrove's urgent summons, voice grave over speaker. The cousins hired a PI. Dug up your history. They're pushing a morality clause addendum to the will. Claims Eleanor's influence was to pervert the estate. Cameron laughed incredulously in the boardroom. Luke at his side for moral support. Fingers laced under the table. Morality? From bootleggers. But the lawyer's face was grim, spreading photos. Cameron at pride, arm around an ex. Grainy shots from Boise Luke's past, unearthed via guilt. They've subpoenaed witnesses. This gets ugly, it goes public. Reputations tank. Luke's grip tightened, knuckles white. Outside, in the ferry terminal's bustle, he pulled Cameron aside. They went after me? How? Cameron's stomach nodded. Pie. Probably tailed you from the bar. Luke's face shuddered. A violinist's precision in the mask. I have baggage. Ex who sold stories to rags after we split. Violent stuff. Cameron's world tilted. Why didn't you tell and scare you off? This is new, Cam. Scary new. They argued on the waterfront. Rain mirroring tears. Trust frayed, accusations flying. You hid it. Like you hid the ledger? Cameron froze. How did he know? Luke's eyes dropped. Saw the draft in your email. Open tab. Betrayal stung twin blades. Cameron stormed home, brownstone echoing isolation. Hours later, Luke's knock yielded apologies. A bouquet of wild asters from the market. I panicked, but I'm all in if you'll have me. Forgiveness came slow, over tea in the library, stories retold without armor. My ex was toxic, Luke admitted. Beat me down, literally. Left bruises and headlines. Cameron's rage flared protective. Bastard. But you're light. They rebuilt, brick by kiss, but cracks lingered, widened by a late-night call. Vivian, sobbing. Derek spiraling. Lost the firm shares. He's talking suicide. Cameron's resolve crumbled. Where? The hospital was sterile hell. Derek pale in a gown. Wrists bandaged. Vivian clung to Cameron, mascara rivers. You did this. No, they had, but guilt gnawed. He sat vigil, Luke waiting in the hall like a shadow. Derek woke murmuring. Sorry, cuz. Roy pushed. The safe. We wanted leverage. Cameron squeezed his hand. Leverage breaks people. Dawn brought fragile truce. Derek promising testimony against Roy's schemes. A whistleblower's path to redemption. But as they left, Roy's car idled curbside, glare venomous. Traitors. Home exhaustion claimed them. Luke drew a bath in the clawfoot tub, bubbles scented lavender, joining Cameron in steam-shrouded peace. Proud of you, he murmured, hands soaping shoulders. Touches turned tender, bodies aligning in water's embrace, a reclaiming without words. Afterward, wrapped in robes, they plodded on the sunroom chaise, exposed the ledger cleanly, through channels sparing Derek. Humanity over vengeance, Cameron said. Luke nodded, forehead to his. Our story, not theirs. Yet fate twisted. Roy struck preemptively. Leaked stories hit alt-weeklies. Disgraced heir's gay affair sinks family empire. Photos of Cameron and Luke at the park. Kisses cropped scandalous. Luke's ex dredging dirt, painting him unstable. Symphony board called Luke in. Discretion Whitaker. Sponsors balk. He downplayed but doubt seeded. Cameron found him on the fire escape that night. Violin weeping a lament. They'll fire me. Cameron knelt, chin on knee. Then we fight. Together. Luke's kiss was desperate, clinging. But in the quiet after, as rain pattered tin, Cameron wondered. How many blows before they broke? The climax brewed at the will's formal reading. A chamber orchestra of tension in Hargrove's oak-paneled office. Family arrayed like jury. Vivian dabbing eyes, Lydia clutching pearls, Derek subdued beside his wife. Roy at head, suit impeccable, smirk a blade. Cameron entered last, Luke's hand a ghost in his pocket. Support unspoken, presence felt. Hargrove intoned the will, voice droning assets. The brownstone, funds transferred, maritime shares intact. Gasps at the codicils read. To my grandson Cameron, for his courage and truth, I bequeath not just wealth but absolution. Let no hail chain another. Roy exploded. Lies. He coerced her. Folders flew, accusations a cacophony. Then Cameron rose, ledger in hand, copied, original safe. No, uncle. You coerced. For decades. Pages slapped table. Ledgers of embezzlement, falsified logs, Roy's signature damning. Silence, then Vivian's wail. How? Grandma kept records. For this. Roy lunged. Fist raised. Derek intercepting. Enough, Dad! Scuffle. Hargrove calling security. Chaos spilling into hall. Luke pulled Cameron back, shielding. Breathe. It's done. But done? Roy snarled from cuffs. You'll regret this, boy. Blood bleeds. The DA's office moved swift. Arrests pending, headlines shifting. Hale empire crumbles under fraud. Cameron's phone rang non-stop. Reporters, distant cousins suing for scraps. Sanctuary was Luke's loft. Door bolted. World shut out. They collapsed on the bed, fully clothed, holding as sobs racked Cameron. I freed her ghost, but lost them. Luke's arms tightened. Gained us. Kisses followed, slow and healing, bodies a map of survival. Autumn gilded Seattle. Leaves carpeting Queen Anne's hills like burnished coins. But Cameron's victory soured to ash. The brownstone, once haven, echoed accusations. Reporters staking the stoop, tabloids dubbing him the Rainbow Raider. Work had been there suspended. Too much heat, Cam. Leaving days to prowl empty rooms, Hemingway the sole judge. Luke's rehearsals stretched long. His texts clipped. Board meeting. Miss you. Cameron chalked it to stress, but distance grew. A chill seeping like November fog. One dusk, he found the letter slipped under the door. Vivian's script, elegant as ever. Dearest, we've lost everything. Roy's indicted. Derek's divorcing. I'm alone. But you could fix this. Drop the evidence, take a settlement. For family. He crumpled it, but roots tugged. Memories of Christmas cookies, her lullabies. Betrayal's mirror. Hadn't he betrayed them too? Choosing self over silence? He drove to her Bellevue condo unannounced. Rain sheeting the windshield. Vivian answered in silk robe, eyes hollowed. Cameron. No hug, just entry. The living room was stripped. Photos down, furniture sparse, a ghost of excess. They're selling, she said, pouring sherry with trembling hands. All gone because of your justice. Cameron sipped, bitter. Because of his crimes, Mom. Decades. Vivian's gaze sharpened. And your grandmother enabled it. Hid it for you. Lie, but it landed. You chose him over me. At 16, you said I was dead to you. Tears welled, hers first. Fear, Cameron. Small-town girl in a big lie. But I loved you. Still do. The admission cracked him. They talked till midnight. Wounds lanced but unhealed. Stay for tea? She asked. He left instead, promising nothing, heart a battlefield. Luke waited at the brownstone. Violin case by the door, face drawn. Went to see her? Cameron nodded, guilt flushing. Heard from Jax. Tension crackled. Without telling me? It was impulse. Luke's sigh was weary. We're in this, but secrets. They kill. Argument simmered. Cameron accusing avoidance. Luke the board's ultimatums. Quiet or quit. Then quit. Cameron snapped. For us. Luke recoiled. Easy for you, millions cushion falls. I built this from nothing. Silence, brutal. Luke grabbed his coat. Need air. The door clicked shut, a guillotine. Nights fractured. Cameron pacing attics, ledger's weight phantom. Luke crashing at a subletters, text sparse. Pride's echo-haunted, rainbow flags mocking isolation. Desperate, Cameron drove to the Symphony Hall, Benaroya's marble gleaming under halogens. Backstage, amid costume racks and rosin dust, he found Luke tuning, bow poised. Cam, don't. I get it scared. Me too. Luke set the violin down, eyes glistening. The board knows about us. Sponsors pulling. It's my dream. Cameron stepped close, hand on his arm. Then make a new one. With me. Luke's resolve crumbled, pulling him into shadows, kiss fierce and forgiving. I love you, he whispered, first utterance. Cameron's echo trembled. Love you too. Reconciliation bloomed tentative. Joint therapy with a queer counselor in Capitol Hill, unpacking Boise scars and Hale hypocrisies. Dates reclaimed romance. Ferry to Bainbridge, picnics with thermoses of chowder. Luke composing a suite inspired by Cameron's eyes, emerald variations. The brownstone hosted family of choice. Jax's game nights, Mrs. Patel's curry feasts, laughter-filling voids. Roy's trial loomed January, depositions dredging filth. Embezzlement tallied millions. Derek testifying tearful, Vivian invoking the fifth. Cameron attended one, incognito in the gallery, Roy's glare a impotent arrow. Justice, he murmured to Luke in the courthouse cafe after, lattes steaming. Bittersweet, but betrayal's shadow lengthened. Mid-December, a package arrived, no sender, brown paper crisp. Inside, photos. Cameron and Luke at the park, time-stamped post-reading. But worse, attic shots, him at the safe, date stamped before the bust. Impossible. Then a note, Derek scrawl, insurance. Drop charges or these go to the press. Your lover's face on M for fraud complicity. Heart plummeting, Cameron confronted Derek at a neutral diner, neutral turf. You tailed me? After everything. Derek's shrug was hollow. Dad's orders. Last play. Rage boiled. You're both poison. He stormed out, vowing to Hargrove. Accelerate the case. Christmas Eve. Snow rare and magical. Blanketed the city. Luke planned a tree trimming at the brownstone. Ornaments from his childhood. Fragile glass, Boise imports. They strung lights to carols. Hemingway batting tinsel. World narrowed to warmth. To us? Luke toasted with eggnog, pulling Cameron under mistletoe. The kiss deepened, bodies swaying to silent night. A vow in motion, but post-midnight, as they lay spent in afterglow. Chaste entanglement, hearts synced. Cameron's phone lit. Unknown number, voicemail. Roy's voice, slurred from jail. Merry Christmas, traitor. Ask your boyfriend about the safe. Dread coiled. Cameron slipped from bed, padding to the library. Replaying. Luke stirred. Cam. Confrontation dawned cold. What did he mean? Luke sat up, sheet pooling. Nothing. Rambling. But eyes evaded. Cameron pressed, voice cracking. The photos. How'd they get attic access? Unless. Luke's confession spilled. I borrowed your key. After the meeting. Thought evidence hidden, but saw the ledger open. Meant to tell you. Betrayal, intimate blade. You spied. Protected. Roy's PI was circling. I checked for bugs. Cameron recoiled. My home. Our trust. Luke reached. Cam, please. But he shrugged away, dressing in dark. Need space. He fled to Fremont. Hemingway crated in tow, crashing at Jax's couch. Days blurred. New Year silent, trial prep consuming. Roy's plea deal crumbled under Derek's full flip. Indictments cascading. Vivian called, broken. He's pleading guilty. Forfeits all. Cameron's mercy stirred. Visit him? She did, emerging hollowed. Forgive. Working on it. But Luke? Radio silence, Symphony firing him publicly. Conduct unbecoming. Headlines twisting. Heir's lover in ethics probe. Lies, Hargrove quashed, but damage scarred. Reunion came fractured, Valentine's at the eclipse, Jax mediating. Luke, thinner, eyes haunted, slid into the booth. I fucked up, trusted wrong. Cameron's throat tight. Me too assumed. Words bridged. Apologies, admissions, a pact renewed. No more shadows, Luke vowed. They left arm in arm, snow-dusting shoulders, brownstone aglow. In the sunroom, orchids blooming defiant, they talked dawn through. Futures sketched. Cameron's film fund. Luke's teaching gig at a community college. Love rekindled, touches tentative, rebuilding arch by arch. Yet Roy's sentencing loomed. A final act. Courthouse packed. Flashes popping. Cameron testified last. Not vengeance. Healing. Judge's gavel fell. 10 years. Restitution. Roy's stare, broken man, met his, no apology, but nod, surrender. Outside, Vivian embraced him, first in years. Proud, like her. Derek followed, handshake firm. Thanks, cuz. Family, reforged in fire. Spring unfurled Seattle's secrets. Cherry blossoms veiling streets, fairies slicing sun-dappled sound. Cameron's life-greened brownstone renovations complete. A home office birthing his first short film, Echoes of Heir, a docudrama on buried truths. Funded by maritime dividends, it premiered at SIFF to whispers. Raw. Redemptive. Luke thrived adjunct at Cornish, strings class swelling with eager hands. His compositions scoring local plays. Their rhythm steadied, mornings tangled in sunbeams, evenings on the deck with gin rickeys, overlooking Olympic's silhouette. This is it, Luke murmured one twilight, head on Cameron's lap, fingers laced. Our overture. Vivian integrated slow. Sunday brunches at the brownstone, her awkward attempts at allyship, pride pins on sweaters, questions about your Luke. Derek rebuilt in therapy, a realtor gig in Tacoma, occasional texts. Movie night? Forgiveness flowed, humanistic tide, washing grudges. Roy, from minimum security, wrote monthly, terse updates, a softening. Missed the ships, one read. Cameron replied, build models. Start small. No warmth but bridge. Yet undercurrents stirred. Luke's ex resurfaced. Email from Boise. Missed you. Clean now. Coffee? Cameron found it open on the laptop, jealousy flaring. You didn't delete? Luke's defense. Pity archive. Haven't answered. Trust tested again, argument echoing old fractures. Patterns, Cameron accused. We break them, Luke countered, but doubt lingered, a dissonant note. They sought counseling anew, sessions in a waterfront office, unpacking codependency's hooks. Love's not possession, the therapist urged. Cameron internalized, releasing reins. Summer solstice brought pivot. Luke's offer from Portland's orchestra, principal second violin, double pay. Touring stability, he said over paella on Alki Beach, waves lapping. Cameron's fork paused. Distance. Weekends. We manage. But heart rebelled. Nights without his warmth. Symphonies stealing him. Stay, Cameron pleaded, voice small. Luke's eyes shadowed. Dream, Cam, like your films. Stalemate simmered weeks. Pros cons listed on napkins, tears over takeout. Ultimately, Luke accepted. Portland a 3-hour drive, visits plotted like scores. Departure day gutted. U-Haul loaded with sheet music. Violin case last in. Cameron helped pack, throat tight, pressing a locket into Luke's palm. Grandma's, engraved true north. Compass home. Luke's kiss was salt sweet. Always. Drive south. Taillights fading on I-5. Left Cameron hollow. Brownstone echoed emptier. Hemingway meowing protests. Nights, calls bridged miles. Luke's hotel woes. Cameron's set mishaps. But gaps widened. Missed connections. Fatigue fraying voices. Love you became ritual but rote. Film wrapped, buzz building but isolation clawed. Vivian noticed. Brunch probing. Trouble? Cameron deflected. But Derek cornered him at a Mariners game. Bleachers buzzing. He gone? Room for old flames. Joke, but stung. Cameron laughed it off, but seeds of doubt sprouted. A party in Capitol Hill, post-premiere glow. Admirers circling, a director's flirt. Script collab. Wine loosening boundaries. Home alone, guilt gnawed. He confessed to Luke next call. Nothing happened. Pause then. Trust you. But, careful. Echo of past. Reversed. Autumn's turn brought crisis. Roy's appeal denied. Health failing. Cancer. Stage 4. Vivian begged. See him. End clean. Cameron drove to the prison. Barbed wire a metaphor, visiting room sterile. Roy, gaunt in orange, chains clinking. Knew you'd come. No sorry, but story. Regrets spilled. Bootleg youth's greed metastasizing. Loved her, your gran. Failed you all. Cameron's throat bobbed. Forgive. Roy's nod weak. Try. Drive home. Catharsis heavy. He called Luke. Need you. Flight booked, Portland reunion at the brownstone. Arms crushing, kisses claiming. Missed this. Luke gasped. Bodies realigning in the foyer. Clothes shed in trail to bed. Lovemaking reclaimed. Slow and sacred. Reaffirming. But Portland pulled. Tours to Vancouver. Gigs in Eugene. December storm stranded Luke. Holiday solo for Cameron. Tree half-trimmed. Vivian's turkey cold comfort. New Year's. Video call fireworks. To us, apart. But distance eroded. Texts terse. Silences long. Spring. Cameron's film shortlisted for Tribeca. Come. Luke's regret. Rehearsal clash. Loneliness peaked at the airport. Boarding alone. City lights blurring tears. NYC pulsed electric. Panels, parties, a chance encounter with an editor. Sparks innocent but thrilling. Back. Confession call. Flirted. Stupid. Luke's voice cracked. We said patterns. Argument escalated. You're gone. Chasing dreams. For us. Breaking point. May. Luke's recital streamed. Cameron watching from empty theater seat. Applause tinny. Post-show call dissolved. This isn't working. Luke's plea. Fight for it. Cameron's no. Tired. Hang up. Silence deafening. Days blurred. Brownstone sold? No kept. Anchor. Therapy solo. Journaling rage to release. Friends rallied. Jax's bar therapy. Mrs. Patel's wisdom. Love bends. Doesn't break easy. Summer healed slow. Film wins Oscar nod. Shortlist buzz. Solitary celebration. Luke's congrats text polite distance. Fall. Olive branch. Luke's letter. Handwritten. Boise postmark. Visiting family. I was wrong. Space showed you're my melody. Home? Cameron's reply. Doors open. Slow. Reunion tentative. Portland Drive. Diner coffee. Talks marathon. Missed your chaos. Luke admitted. Symphonies hollow without. Back together. Boundaries redrawn. Bi-city life. Weekends alternating. Compromises scripted. Romance rekindled. Deeper for scars. Dates intentional. Touches grateful. Winter solstice. Brownstone aglow. They hosted Vivian, Derek. Even Roy's letter read aloud. Frail hands peace. Luke proposed amid dessert. Ring simple silver. Engraved duet. Marry me. Cameron's yes. Tears joy. Vows planned spring. Seattle courthouse. Family patchwork witness. The wedding dawned crystalline. Seattle's rare blue sky a benediction. Cherry remnants confetti underfoot. Queen and Hill bloomed wild. Garden club volunteers. Mrs. Patel leading. Stringing lanterns in the brownstone's yard. Tables laden with dulcet bibimbap and Seattle smoked salmon. Fusion of roots. Guests mingled eclectic. Symphony alums. Film crew. Jax and sequins emsand. Derek best man with a speech mercifully short. To blood chosen. Vivian. Matron in lavender. Dabbed eyes. Her arm linked Cameron's as they walked the aisle. Petals scattered. Hemingway in bow tie scampering ahead. Luke waited at arch violinists. His Portland crew. Serenading Pachelbel's canon. His smile radiant. Suit tailored sharp. Blonde curls tamed. Vows exchanged simple. Cameron's. You saw me when mirrors lied. Luke's. Your rhythm steadies mine. Rings slid. Matching silver. Rainbow inlays. And kiss sealed. Cheers erupting. Rain of rice biodegradable. Reception spilled laughter. Dances to Motown. toasts to Grandma's ghost. Her locket shared on chain around both necks. Night deepened, stars pricking, guests departing to fairy songs. Honeymoon modest. Cabin in Olympics, no cell service, world paused. Trails hiked hand in hand. Lakes dipped toes. Nights by fire with stories swapped anew. Future. Luke asked, embers glowing. Cameron traced his ring. Films that matter, queer tales, family truths. You composing scores. Luke nodded. Ours first. Lovemaking fireside. Bodies known as home, whispers of forever. Return grounded dreams. Cameron's feature greenlit. Heir's echo. Budget modest but bold. Casting queer leads. Luke balanced adjuncts, remote sessions, a Patreon for originals thriving. Family mended. Vivian volunteering at LGBTQ Center. Derek sponsoring a youth film fest. Roy's last letter arrived spring. Proud. Free now. He passed quiet. Ashes scattered soundside. Cameron and Vivian toasting absolution. Years layered. First anniversary. Vow renewal under lanterns. Friends grown family. Cameron's film Sundance darling. Awards trickling. Humanitas nod for heart. Luke's symphony commission. Hail variations. Premiered Benaroya. Cameron front row. Tears blurring bows. Challenges came, funding droughts, health scares minor, a miscarriage scare when adoption whispers began, but weathered together therapy touchstone. Decade mark, Brownstone hosted Silver Bash. Strings quartet, projections of clips, toasts to resilience. Vivian, silver-haired now, raised glass. To the heir who claimed his heart. Derek, uncle to their wards. Two foster boys, jazz-loving twins, grinned. Luke pulled Cameron aside. Garden quiet. Worth every storm. Kiss under moon, locket warm between. Legacy not wealth, but love's quiet revolution. A grandson accepted. Family humanized. Story written in lives intertwined. In the end, Cameron knew. Grandma's gift wasn't gold, but grace. The courage to inherit oneself. And in Luke's arms, he was whole heir to a fortune boundless.